Welcome to Fantasia, home of the Melodious. My name's Azallea, and today I'm gonna be bringing you guys another dual commentary. Now this time, this is gonna be a post commentary. So this was already pre-recorded from when I was playing my match in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Non-Meta tournament. So here I am playing rock paper scissors against Mauricio, and I'm playing my Saffron Melodious deck. And I believe Mauricio was playing his Synchrons deck as like a Fluffal Synchro deck. So yeah, he gets to go off, and he starts off by going for the tuning, searching for the junk Synchron. So at this point, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing, and I hope that he doesn't open up with a really good hand, because his deck is focused on his deck is able to get out Quasar, and with the Melodious deck that I'm playing, it doesn't do really well against negation. You have to get your plays off, and you have to get your strings off, strings or combos off in order to set up a nice field. So it really sucked here when he was able to get out the Level Eater, and so now I see that he's getting out the TG Hyper Librarian, and he has his combos basically set up with Level Eater and everything, and now he has the Soul Charge, and once he revealed the Soul Charge, I just knew that it was going to be an insane turn for him, and unfortunately I did not have access to Max C or anything. Did not have it in my opening hand, and looking at my hand right now, it's actually pretty good. If I went first, it would have been really nice, because I would have been able to set up with the Terraforming, going for Ritual Sanctuary. Then I could Ritual Sanctuary, pitch the first move in solo to grab a Hymn of Light. Then I could Ritual Summon the Saffron by tributing the Ben 10, and Ben 10 could grab me a Search, which would have been really nice. And that would have been my setup for the turn, and it would have been pretty good. But seeing his combo now, he's just going off. He has the Fright for Fusion, so he's ready to set up for an OTK if he needs to. And he's still going off. He's making the Formula Synchrons. He's putting the Level Eaters back in the graveyard, which is really important for him, so he can keep using that effect to bring it back. And now he gets the Quick Draw Synchron, pitching another Level Eater, so pretty problematic for me. And here he goes for another Synchro play, and he has enough, I think, after that to make a Quasar. Yeah, there we go. I think he makes a Jet Warrior, and then Hyper Librarian's just been generating so much advantage for him, and he was really lucky to be able to get it out first. Being the first Synchro that was created, everything that comes after it nets him draws. So yeah, here he's able to go for a Shooting Quasar Dragon, and at this point, I'm just hoping that he doesn't negate the first movement solo, because the first movement solo will be able to help me stall. I'd be able to get Arya out. I'm going to be able to just stall so he can't get past my Arya to get to my life points. And I'll certain that he's going to end his turn around here, because he's just Level Eatering and setting up a defensive board. Now, here I didn't want Quasar to really negate anything, because I need these combo pieces, but since he does not have a second copy Ritual Sanctuary, I thought, okay, well, I can search out the Ritual Sanctuary here, and then maybe try to bait the Quasar with it. But then I think I decided against it, because I knew that Quasar would have a negation, and Quasar can negate cards or effects, so even if I activated a Ritual Sanctuary and I pitched a spell with it, he could just negate that, and then I'd be out of options. So I believe what I do here is I actually just go for a first movement solo, to see if he would negate that, because if he negated the first movement solo, then I could activate the Ritual Sanctuary and then search out stuff for the Saffron play. And if he used the Quasar negate on the first movement solo, then Benton can search out an Honest, and then Saffron can attack with the Quasar, and I can drop the Honest on him there. But he didn't negate it, and it kind of threw me off, because I was really confident that he would negate this, because he knows how Melodious works. He's played against my deck before, so yeah, now he can't really get over the Arya, and yeah, here I think I'm double checking the Quasar effect, and yeah, it says that once per turn when a card or effect is activated. So if I, pitch cards with Ritual Sanctuary, he's obviously going to negate it, because it would mean destroying the Ritual Sanctuary, and I lose the card that I discarded. So it's basically I go -2 for nothing, because he gets to keep his Quasar. But yeah, so he goes here, he normal summons a Jet Synchron, and gets the Jet Warrior back, and now he's able to go for even more synchro plays. And at this point, I think I'm just pretty much screwed. So he boosts the level of his Excel Synchron, and he's gonna go for a synchro play into the Omega, and Omega kind of hurt here because now every turn he's able to rip a card out of my hand, and that's not really what I want because I'm so pressed for getting enough cards in my hand so that a Quasar Negate won't hinder me too much. At this point, I'm just trying to get enough cards so that I can make a play through a Quasar Negation. But yeah, he goes for another Formula Synchron here, goes for some more draws, and his Fluffal draw engine, of course, is coming to life over here, as we see with his Toy Vendor and all that. I don't remember. Okay, yeah, he does activate the effect of Toy Vendor, and he luckily draws into a Fluffal Dog, and I'm like, wow, are you kidding me? And he also has Fluffal Wings in his graveyard, so his Fluffal Wings is able to banish another Fluffal monster, grab a draw, send the Toy Vendor, grab another draw, and then Toy Vendor can search, which, yeah, he's gonna go off right here. Fluffal Wings banishing the Fluffal Owl, getting the draw, sending the Toy Vendor, getting a second draw, and then Toy Vendor gets the search, so he's gonna get 3 cards out of his deck. Like, he just has insane amounts of advantage. 5 cards in hand and 5 cards on the field, compared to me with 1 card on the field and 5 cards in my hand. So I do have that Soul Charge, so what I was planning on doing was hopefully drawing to level 4, and then I could make a Lightning. Lightning can run over the Quasar, and if anything does happen, I can Soul Charge the Aria back, so I'm just protected. But yeah, here I drawn to the pre-preparation of rights, which was actually really good, because if his Quasar would negate that, then I would be completely fine. But here he does, I never expected this to happen, but he used Formula and Omega to go for a Stardust Warrior. Now, Stardust Warrior, when I would special summon a monster, he can negate that special summon, and if he does, he can destroy it. And then during the end phase, his monster comes back, so he has to tribute the Stardust Warrior to negate my summon, and the Stardust Warrior comes back. So kind of like Stardust Dragon and how it negates destruction, but this is just way worse. It's really, really bad for me. So he actually lets this go through, so I was fine with that. So I was able to search the Hymn of Light, and I'm just going to be able to activate it. And if his Quasar does negate it, I can just pre-preparation of rights and go for another Saphra with a Hymn of Light, which is nice. But here, I'm able to summon my Saphra. He lets it go through, so I'm trying to search with Benten, and seeing if his Quasar would negate that. His Quasar didn't, so I'm like, okay, well, I can search a cannon, I can special the cannon, and then overlay, right? But since I haven't used my normal summon, I can actually go for a Soprano as well. Here I'm just checking my graveyard, making sure what I have, because if I do go for a Soprano and I summon it with the Aria, I can overlay into a Utopia or something, although Stardust Charge Warrior might negate that, but then I could Ritual Sanctuary, bring back the Soprano, add the Aria back to my hand. So I had a couple options I could go for, and yeah, so I ultimately decide to go for the cannon, and I can special summon the cannon and I can go for rank 4. Now I know that if I go for rank 4, Stardust Warrior will definitely negate that summon. And he hasn't used Quasar either, and so that's going to be very difficult for me to get over. Now if he didn't make the Stardust Warrior, I could have easily gone for a Lightning, and then Lightning could just run over Quasar, but that is definitely not the case, and he made a very smart choice here. And I was kind of stuck, as you can tell by my very slow play at this point. Really didn't know what I should do, and I know that I had the pre-preparation of rights in my hand with another Ritual Sanctuary, but that wasn't something that was too useful at the moment because I already had my Saphra on the field. I'm banking on Saphra netting me some draws during the end phase. I summoned Saphra in defense mode as well because I didn't want to just get completely obliterated by Quasar attacking me multiple times and dealing mass amounts of damage. So as you can see here, I'm still in a very tough spot, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. Kind of running a little low on time, but I believe I tried to go for a Castel here, and I tried to bait out. Oh no, okay, never mind. I go for the Utopia and of course the Stardust Warrior is going to negate that. It's really weird that he didn't wait for the lightning to come out, but that is actually going to be really relevant later. So I try to go for the pre-prep just to bait out the Quasar, because I know that I'm going to need Sapphire's effect during the end phase. And I baited out the Quasar so that my Ritual Sanctuary can bring back the Aria safely without being negated. So I used 4 spells from my graveyard to bring back the Aria, because I know Sapphire's is going to die. Like, there's no way I can protect myself against it. So during the end phase, Sapphire's Nest be 2 draws, drawn to Summoner Monk, which is really good. But then his Stardust Warrior comes back and has another free negation for a summon that I can do. Like at this point, if he attacks the Sapphire's, I'm just gonna let the Sapphire's go. There's no reason to banish all of my Hymn of Lights for no reason. I believe I only had 1 in the graveyard, but there's no reason to keep her on the field, especially because Quasar can attack twice, and then Stardust Charge Warrior can, Stardust Warrior, not Stardust Charge Warrior. Stardust Warrior can attack it too. But then he goes for the Fright for Tiger and just pops my Sapphire's, and I just decide against protecting it because there's no reason to. So it just keeps the Hymn of Light in circulation, in play. I can recycle it. He got rid of my Ritual Sanctuary, kinda sucks. Although I do have 1 in hand, I was planning on pitching this for Summoner Monk. But yeah. So now he has a Fright for Tiger on the field alongside Quasar, Stardust Warrior, and a Jet Warrior. So, but anyway, I draw into the Terraform, which was kind of nice, so I can get that 3rd Ritual Sanctuary out of my deck. Now I have to be very careful since I have 2 in my hand and 1 in my graveyard, which means that if he gets rid of all my Ritual Sanctuaries, my grind game is pretty much over. The deck relies on Ritual Sanctuaries recycling effects to be able to recycle, and all my cards bring back monsters, get additional effects, get additional searches as well. So here I'm contemplating, like, do I really want to summon my Summoner Monk and then discard a spell? And I said, you know what, no, because if I do, Quasar's going to negate it, of course, because at that point I'm going -2 for nothing, and then I'm left with a single Ritual Sanctuary in my hand that doesn't really do much at all. So I believe at this point we just enter this kind of standoff where we can't do anything, and we just keep passing our turns. So it is really important to note that I do run Utopia Prime in my extra deck. So he negated the summon of Utopia, and he didn't wait for Lightning, which was still, in my opinion, was still a misplay on his part. It was kind of a misplay on mine too. I should have used Castell to try to bait out the Stardust Warrior, but I didn't, and I opted to go for the Utopia instead. But I'm looking through his graveyard, just trying to figure out, you know, what he has left, what plays he has left, just so that he doesn't have any follow-up plays if I do clear his field. But I noticed that he does have the Omega in the graveyard, and Omega can recycle basically anything by shuffling it, himself back into the deck. But here, I actually draw into my 2nd copy of Summoner Monk, which was not really the best thing, because I only have 1 normal summon, of course. But if I summon a Summoner Monk and it gets negated, then I don't really have any follow-up plays. Now here, see, I have the Utopia Prime up on the screen. So Utopia Prime, one thing that is really important to note is it requires 3 level 4 light monsters, which means I can summon it in this deck because Melodious monsters are obviously level 4 light monsters. So I do have a way to play through his field. It just requires more cards, right? Because if I can't play past that single Quasar negation, I'm gonna be in trouble. So I'm checking my graveyard for the number of spells that I have, mostly for Ritual Sanctuary. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I can summon a monk, I can pitch first movement solo, I can try to get something. Quasar might negate that. And if Quasar negates that, then I can activate Ritual Sanctuary and grab stuff back by shuffling some spell cards back. Because I do have that cannon in my graveyard that I can revive. But then that would mean I have to play through a Stardust Warrior and its negation if I do try to go for an XYZ. And I realized, okay, so if he does negate the Summoner Monk, and then he negates the XYZ summon I do with Aria and Cannon, then I'm kind of screwed. Now, I think at this point, he summoned the Quick Draw Synchron. Mauricio summoned the Quick Draw Synchron because he wanted to make a what was it? Ultimaya Zolkin. He wanted to make the Zolkin with the Quick Draw Synchron and the Jet Warrior that he has, just so that, you know, he could set a card and get a Crystal Wing out, and that would have been Crystal Wing, Quasar, and Stardust Warrior. And just even now, it's unbelievable that I'm holding off against this field. It's absolutely ridiculous. But here, I draw into that Soul Charge that I shuffled back earlier with the Ritual Sanctuary, which is really nice, because now, if he negates the Summoner Monk, I can still Soul Charge that Summoner Monk back, and Summoner Monk can grab another card, which is really important. So here I'm expecting a negation. So the most optimal card to discard is the first movement solo, because I control monsters, so I can't use its effect. But he actually lets the Summoner Monk go through, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna get the Honest out, because if I get Honest, even if he negates something with, if he negates anything with Quasar, then I'm gonna be able to use Honest and just run into the Quasar. So I'm trying to return to the hand to bait his Quasar, and it worked, which is really, really good. So now I have Soprano and Cannon in the graveyard as well now. And this is really important for me, because now I can Ritual Sanctuary, use its effect to add back this, to summon the Soprano by shuffling 4 spells back. And I believe that's what I'm doing right here. I go for the Ritual Sanctuary because he doesn't have any more negations. At this point, the only thing I'm worried about is if he has a Ghost Ogre in his hand. If he had a Ghost Ogre in his hand, that would have been kind of been bad. But anyway, here I'm able to go for a search, or I can go for a special summon. So I believe I go for the special summon and try to get the Soprano back, Soprano as the cannon back to my hand. But I'm still thinking through, like, I have to play around the Stardust Warrior negation. That's the most important thing. I can't risk losing more XYZs to the Stardust Warrior, because it's just super important. But also, I keep in mind that his Stardust Warrior has it tributes itself, so it goes to the graveyard. So if it goes to the graveyard, then I need to find a way to get over it, and then I can if I get a way to if I find a way to get over this to bait out the Stardust Warrior and it goes to the graveyard, I can banish it with Shiberta. That was my train of thought. I'm like, okay, I can banish the Stardust Warrior if it hits the graveyard, and I really need to try to get past this Quasar as well. So at this point, I'm thinking of putting Arya into attack mode and just attacking over it with the Honest, but that would mean taking a ton of damage next turn because of what Quasar can do. It can attack twice. So I would be taking, I believe, 2400 twice. That'd be 4800 damage. Then his Jet Warrior and his Frightful Tiger can attack too, and that would bring me down to pretty low life points. And I really want to save life points for Soul Charge, because I was certain that Soul Charge would be a very key card in winning this duel. So I did go for a search. I got the Ben 10 out of my deck by discarding the Ritual Sanctuary, because I already shuffled the other copy back, so now I'm not too scared of losing all 3 copies. So it's so difficult to play around the Stardust Warrior, and I really do have to commend Mauricio for that play. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but yeah, I go for the Diamond Direwolf to try to bait out the Stardust Warrior, which of course he's going to use to negate. But now I'm able to go for the Soul Charge with that no fear of any negation. So I'm bringing back the Saphra, the Soprano, Arya, and the Summoner Monk. So Saphra's able to get me some draws during the end phase. Soprano's going to be able to add back Cannon. Oh, actually, I don't go for the Saphra. Yeah, that's right. I believe there's no point in going for the Saphra. But yeah, here I go for the Soprano added back Cannon, and so then I had Cannon on the field. Yeah, that's why I didn't go for the Saphra, because I wanted Summoner Monk to be able to summon something else from my deck. And I wanted to be able to go for XYZs. So, yeah, so I was able to go for a Castel here, which was really nice. Castel is able to actually put back the Quasar. So that's the negation gone. The Quasar is gone out of the picture, and now I can go for a Soprano, and I can go for a Fusion Summon to summon the Shiberta. I put everything in defense mode. I don't want, like, some crazy thing happening with him just OTKing me out of nowhere. So his Stardust Warrior is trying to get back to the field, and then I activate Shiberta. So I use Shiberta's effect during the end phase. I target the Stardust Warrior and I get the Level Eater. I believe I hit 2 of the level eaters out of his graveyard, because I'm certain that like he's gonna use that on the quick draw Synchron and then try to go off from there. I think he might have had a 3rd level eater though. Yeah, there it is in the graveyard. So at this point I was thinking, oh my god, maybe I messed up here, because I should have banished all 3 level eaters. If I banished all 3 level eaters and let the Stardust Warrior come back, because I had a Shiberta on the field with 3000 attack, so I could just crash into the Stardust Warrior at any time. So looking back at this game, I'm like, oh, that's probably where I messed up, because then he wouldn't be able to make the Drill Warrior, and yeah, so now he's able to make the Ultimate Zulkin actually, which is really good for him, and I think he's able to go for the Crystal Wing here. Now Crystal Wing is a huge problem, because Shiberta can't attack over this thing, and in order for a lower attack monster to be able to attack over, I have to drop the Honest, which Crystal Wing can negate. So that is a huge problem. And yeah, but I do notice that he kept the level 2 monster, I forgot what it was called, but that 0 attack monster and attack, but I'm just thinking, oh man, if I could get a lightning to just attack that thing, it would be amazing. Yeah, so looking at the field right now, he actually cleared my Castel, which was really good, because I needed the space. Castel wasn't going to be doing anything for me. But he goes to Drill Warrior, you know, banishes self and all that. He could have actually just started Drill Warrior poking me for a lot of damage. Like, just, even though Drill Warrior would do half damage every time it attacked me directly, it would still be chipping away my life points, which would have been good for him. But now I top deck in this Instant Fusion. This is a really critical point of the game where I'm like, okay, I have the Instant Fusion. I need to be able to make a Lightning, because Lightning will be able to destroy Crystal Wing, right? So I have to go for Norden, obviously with the Instant Fusion that he can't negate, because Crystal Wing can only negate monster effects. And now I'm contemplating whether or not I should use Norden, because Norden can bring something back. But one thing that I miscalculated this, I overlooked this, I went a little too fast. You saw how fast I went with that Norden play, is that Crystal Wing can negate Norden and gain 2000 attack, which brings Crystal Wing to 5000 attack. And a 5000 attack Crystal Wing, Lightning can't beat. Like, Lightning can crash into it, but it deals no damage to him, and that's a very big problem. Now, huge mistake here, huge mistake here, is that I summoned the Summoner Monk instead of Honest, and as we know, Utopia Prime requires all light monsters. I should have summoned the Honest, and I didn't read the materials for Utopia Prime, and that was just awful. That was awful for me, because now at this point, I can either suicide with the Crystal Wing, or I can attack for 5000 to the level 2 monster that's there, the Synchron Explorer, right? But see, here's the thing, if I had the Honest, if I normal summoned the Honest instead of the Summoner Monk, I could have kept the Arya on the field. And keeping Arya on the field was the most important thing, because he couldn't get over Arya. And he had 8 cards left in his deck. That was... just looking back at this, I'm just really disappointed in myself and what I did there. I played a little too fast. I should not have used the Norden effect at all. In fact, I probably could have... I probably could have just played through without using Norden at all, without using the Instant Fusion. So really disappointed there at what I did. And yeah, then he goes for the Fright for Fusion. Fright for Fusion, of course, is going to let him summon the Fright for Tiger. I believe he goes for that. And now, because Arya's gone, he's able to target and destroy my monsters and my field. And there's so much regret at this point. So, yeah, Fright for Tiger just pops all 3 of my monsters. So, what I was banking on was, like, he can't attack into Utopia the Lightning because I have an Honest in hand, but, you know, he had a way to bypass that by popping my monsters, and, yeah, he's able to attack for game. So, that was, it was a really interesting game 1, and that was actually, it was just... misplays. Well, misplays on both of our parts, but for me, I had the more critical mistakes. So yeah, with that being said, let's go into game 2. Alright, so for the second game, hopping right in, I forget if I decided to go first or second, but I did side in extra cards such as Ghost Ogre to stop these combos, and I sided in the Barrier Statue of the Heavens, which was really nice. Okay, so yeah, okay, I see what I did. I decided to let him go first, which was a big mistake. It was the first round of the tournament, and I was kind of getting to the flow of things, but I definitely made a big mistake there because I sided in, because what I did was I sided in a lot of hand traps. So I sided in Ghost Ogres, and I believe I sided in, might have had Veiler, no, I'm pretty sure no Veilers. Okay, might have sided in Lancia, but I'm not sure on that either. I kind of forget. But the Lancia would probably just be to prevent the Fright for Fusion from going off and prevent the Fluffal Wings and the Fluffal Draw Engine from going off. So here he uses the Toy Vendor, and he goes and he gets such a lucky draw with the Fluffal Owl again. And last time he drew Dog, but this time he drew Owl. So he's able to go for a search. He's not going to go minus. And then he has the Fluffal Wings that he can access to banish his bear, destroy the vendor, get a draw, and then of course search for another card. So he's setting up really nicely. He has so much advantage right now, and he's thinning his deck by a lot. The Fluffal Draw Engine is actually really good, and Fluffals actually kind of have some synergy with the Synchrons. So yeah, there he goes with another tuning. He's adding the Quick Draw Synchron, and he mills the Edge Gem Sabers. Like, come on, Mauricio. At this point, you can't even say like this was like an amazing back and forth kind of like thing. This was you getting lucky, man. So he goes and summons the Level Eater out of his deck with the 1-for-1, and he of course had the Edgem change, which allows him to search out the Fright for Fusion. If I would have gone first, it would have been amazing because I had pre-preparation of Rights and the Ben 10. So if I summon the Saphra, Ben 10 could search for another monster. I would have searched for an Honest at that point, because if I got the Honest, I can normal summon the Barrier Statue and just protect it with Honest. And I also had the Ghost Ogre in my hand, so I was not worried about anything at that point. I wouldn't have been worried. He wouldn't have been able to summon all these monsters and gone off. So it was definitely my mistake for choosing to go second, especially against his deck, which kind of likes to go first because he likes to set up all these like Quasar fields, these powerful big boss monsters with a lot of negation. So yeah, that was definitely a major error on my part. And looking back on this, I definitely look back through my recordings after I played my matches, so to prepare for future ones. So you'll see in future games I don't make the same mistakes, or at least I try not to make the same mistakes. So it's always good as a learning experience. So I highly recommend, if you're playing online, save replays. Whether you win or you lose, it doesn't really matter. Save your replays. Look at your hands. Look at the plays that you're making, and just like judging by your opponent's field and what you're doing, see if you could have had a better play. Maybe you could have done something differently. Maybe you could have set up differently. And it really helps to reflect back and use hindsight, if you will, to basically help you get better and improve at the game. So here, I Ghost Ogre the Hyper Librarian. I didn't want him to get any more draws. The draws were ridiculous, and he would have kept going if I didn't stop it there. I wasn't able to Ghost Ogre earlier because Hyper Librarian is a mandatory effect, and because of that, it was able to hide behind like Chain Link. So it would be Chain Link 1 because it's mandatory, so it goes first. Then optional effects come second, so things like Formula Synchron and stuff, that was able to come out afterwards. So Chain Link 1 Hyper Librarian, Chain Link 2 Formula Synchron means Ghost Ogre can only destroy the Formula Synchron. And now, I don't know if Mauricio is just like reading my mind or something, but at this point he summons the Fright for Sheep, and I'm thinking, well damn, because Fright for Sheep really sucks for me. Oh, and I draw into the Gamma Seal. So, okay, like he got lucky, but I also got lucky with that top deck. So, got rid of his Quasar, which is kind of nice. But the Fright for Sheep, I'm like, okay, look, I can search an Honest, but now Honest can't do anything against the Frightfur Sheep. And I have no way of getting rid of it, because if I do destroy it, it'll come back, right? And it'll gain 800 attack. So if I summon the Saffra and I attack into the Frightfur Sheep, it's just going to come back as 2800 attack, which is more than my Saffra, which would have been really bad. So I was just in such a predicament here, and you know, I could Hymn of Light, summon the Saffra, grab a search, but it just, the Frightfur Sheep really screws me over at this point. And it's kind of funny, because the first game was the Stardust Warrior, the second game is the Frightfur Sheep, and like Mauricio at the time didn't even know. Like, he didn't even know that that would screw me over that badly. So yeah, I'm able to search the Honest, but really it can't do anything against the Frightfur Sheep. But at this point, there wasn't any other monster that I could search that was more useful than an Honest. Because if I search a Melodious monster, it's just a single Melodious monster in my hand, I would need another Melodious card in my hand to be able to do anything. So if I had an Aria or Soprano, I could search the Cannon. If I had a Cannon, I could search the Aria or Soprano. That's kind of like my reasoning behind this build to begin with the rituals. If I open with a Melodious monster, I can search whatever missing one I need, go for rank 4 or fusion plays. But yeah, in this case, it wasn't really the case. So I'm debating on whether I should summon the Honest, attack over the Level Eater, and Saffra attack with the Gamma Seal, and then return Honest to my hand. Or if I should just summon the Barrier Statue and just force him to go into battle phase to destroy the Barrier Statue first with his Frightfur Sheep before he can come and go off and combo off during his main phase. So I believe that I go for the Barrier Statue of the Heavens. I normal summon it. This would have been such a great setup first turn. Like, it would have been so optimal against his deck. And I just, there's so much regret in not setting up by choosing to go first. I was a little afraid of being like bricking if I went first. And then I was also a little afraid that I would open too many of my hand traps or too many of the cards that I sided. So yeah, that was definitely definitely my fault there. But I go for some draws here, and I draw into the Aria, which was kind of nice. So I just discard it to the graveyard, because I can bring it back with Ritual Sanctuary. But yeah, see here, he's forced to go into the battle phase and attack my Barrier Statue, and unfortunately, Frightfur Sheep has like an Armades type effect, where if it attacks or is attacked, I can't activate anything until the end of the damage step, so I can't use my Honest. But here I'm checking my graveyard to see how many spells I have, so I can bring back Aria if need be. I can bring back Barrier Statue too, if I need. So that's also really nice. But he goes for the Synchron Explorer and brings back the Excel Synchron, which is kind of cool. That was an interaction that I wasn't really familiar with at all. I was like, wow, it's the first time I've seen someone do that, because I forgot it was, you know, an actual Synchron card. But now he's gonna go for Zulkin, and he's gonna be able to summon the Crystal Wing, and that really sucks, because again, I have that Honest in hand, but he can negate the Honest. And yeah, so he's I believe he's just gonna go for some extra synchro plays right here, if he can. I don't remember him running level 3s, but he can always bring back the Level Eater to go for a Formula Synchron. So yeah, he's definitely doing that, and he's gonna go for a Formula Synchron by synchroning the Level Eater and the Jet Synchron. And just to get another draw for him. He could synchro for a level 4 if he plays level 4 like Armory Arm or something. I don't remember if he does. This was a few weeks back, so yeah, well, it was actually almost a month ago, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah. So it's been a while since I've watched these games, but just looking over them now, man, I could have played through these so much differently, and the outcome could have been so much more different. So I lost game 1, and this is game 2 right now. Just so you guys know, just a little refresher, because I know this is a very long video. It's gonna be a very long duel, because they're all matches. So all of my future uploads for these tournaments they're also gonna be matches. So expect like longer videos. But anyway, I see that Crystal Wing here. I believe I make a misplay here too, but I was thinking, okay, well, I can attack in the Crystal Wing, I can drop the Honest for the Saffra, and then when Crystal Wing negates, I can Ghost Ogre it, but that doesn't work because Ghost Ogre can't activate during damage step, which is or damage calculation, which is when Crystal Wing can use its negation. So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, I can leave Saffron in attack mode, everything will be good, and if Crystal Wing attacks into me, I can drop the Ghost Ogres or something. That'll be nice, but no, it's not gonna work. But anyway, I go for more searches just to thin out my deck with the Ritual Sanctuary. So I go for another Hymn of Light because, of course, it's another spell card in my hand, which is always really nice. It's not the fact that I want to search out all of my Hymn of Lights just to get rid of them. It's because I want to be able to have an extra spell to discard. So here I shuffle back the Hymn of Lights in my graveyard, so Sapphire's unprotected now, which should be fine because I have the Arya, and Arya, of course, is really difficult for his deck to get over. But that means that if his Crystal Wing attacks in my Saphira, it's gone. There's no more protection. But anyway, like I was saying, the searching out Hymn of Lights is always really good because you always have that spell card in your hand, so the next turn you can always pitch it to search something else, so you just get that continuous deck thinning going on. I mean, ignore me shuffling back like 4 spells right there, but we do get that deck thinning going on, and if you do top deck into a Summoner Monk or something, you always have a spell card that you're able to pitch. So yeah. Here, yeah, this was so dumb of me because just Crystal Wing is able to negate the Honest. I thought I would be able to activate Ghost Ogre, but I forgot, like, oh, Ghost Ogre can't activate during that window. So I lost an Honest for nothing, and yeah, that was just really bad on my part overall. So I lost the level 4 that I could have used to overlay with Arya, essentially. I could have overlaid the Honest with Arya, and then at that point I could have said, oh well, okay, now I can make a lightning can attack over the Crystal Wing, and I'll be in a pretty decent spot with the Ghost Ogre in my hand as well. So now I'm desperately trying to fill my graveyard in with spell cards, because I know that I need that Utopia to get over that Crystal Wing, because Crystal Wing is such a problem for me right now. But yeah. Wasn't able to do that. I believe I only have like 3 spells. I have Terraforming the Hymn of Light and something else in my grave. But yeah, so as you can see, I'm just searching out more Hymn of Lights with my Ritual Sanctuary, just throwing spells in the grave and trying to thin out my deck. I believe he had, yeah, so to me it seemed like he had a really clogged field. I'm like, okay, that's kind of good for me at least right now, because he can't really do anything. As you can see, he just passed his turn. And then, aha, I drew the cannon, and cannon's always really good because it's a free level 4 body on the field. Oh, okay, never mind, I only had 2 spells in my grave. But Ritual Sanctuary is going to go for another search with the Hymn of Light, just pitching it. So that's another spell card in the grave. And now, if I activate the other Ritual Sanctuary in my hand, that'll destroy the first Ritual Sanctuary, which now means I have 4 spells in my grave. So that's always nice. So yeah, of course, I'm searching another Hymn of Light, more deck thinning, more shenanigans. But I special summon the cannon. I'm not sure if I go for the Ritual Sanctuary thing that I was just talking about. Yeah, I don't actually remember what his back row was either. I don't remember if it was anything relevant. But here I am able to make a rank 4 because he allowed me to. Okay, yeah, I go for the Utopia and see if he flips anything. If he negates this summon, okay, no, I don't think he negated it. But here I didn't want to invest. So, okay, yeah, so my train of thought is going into this lightning play, that if I'm able to go for a lightning and destroy the Crystal Wing, then I'll be in a pretty good situation. But here the Formula Synchron again throwing me off. It's just ridiculous. So I'm going for a Ghost Ogre to try to blow up the formula. I'm like, oh, but Crystal Wing can negate it. And so I should have just let him use Formula Synchron, synchro away the Crystal Wing, and make the Omega, because if his Omega is trying to do anything to me, then I would just be able to use Ghost Ogre and destroy the Omega that's on the field, because it activates on the field, right? And at that point, that would have been really nice for me, because he'd have no Omega in circulation, and then I'd be able to have a Lightning on the field, and Omega ripped the Ritual Sanctuary out of my hand, and I needed that Ritual Sanctuary, because like I was saying, I have 3 spells in my grave, so if I had that Ritual Sanctuary, activated it, the Ritual Sanctuary on my field would have gone to my grave. I had 4 spell cards, not 4 Ritual Sanctuaries. That's cheating. So then the Ritual Sanctuary that I have can shuffle the 4 spells back and bring back the Arya, and Arya would have saved me here, because now he's able to combo off just ridiculous amounts, because now I cleared his field, of course, so now he's just able to go and pop off, and he had the Edge Imp and he had the Fluffal, so he's able to go for a Frightfur Tiger, and at this point, that's game on the field right there, and oh, that was just such an unfortunate string of plays. So this first match was just really disappointing for me, but I learned a lot from it, and I believe that was what was important for me going forward into this tournament. Just getting into that mindset. Because I haven't gone to like local tournaments or anything for quite a while before this, so I'm just getting to that mindset of I have to play matches, I have to remember how to side, like what to side, when to side, and decide if I'm gonna go first or second. You know, if I'm going first or second, I have to side accordingly. So I believe I screwed up with what I was doing, and the GGs are coming out. He's going for the little BM with a level eater poke, even though he could just finish me off with anything on the field. But yeah, it was an amazing game. Mauricio played really well. Like, even if it was unintentional, he played really well, and I really respect that. It was a blast. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I know it was pretty long, but I do hope that you guys enjoyed it and at least learned something from my mistakes. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe for more Melodious content, and leave a comment down below letting me know what I can do to improve. And until next time, take care.